Hello, folks. I hope everyone's having a lovely Wednesday. We made the hump day, everybody. It's midweek, and I hope that, we're all having a good time and all having a good day. So I want to welcome you to another day of Text Means Business, which is our 2 week of non-technical careers in the tech space. I have a really good guest speaker here today, so I hope that y'all going to show him some love the same way y'all been showing love to everybody. Once again, greetings, family. And I want y'all to take a moment to share, blow this up, tag a friend to tag a friend, as my CEO would say. We really want to get the interactions going, and we have a lot of good content for you today. We're celebrating Financial Literacy Month with some of the greatest Black technologists, and we have a good one for you today. But before we go on, I want to know a little more about where you are in your journey. Are you in school, in boot camp, or self-learning? Are you applying for your first role? Or are you growing and glowing in your career? I want you to know that regardless of wherever you are at, you are supported, you are loved, and we're here to always make sure that you're getting the best of the best. And now, officially, we've launched our Mmc Event Hub, which is right here. I'm just going to give you a link. It's called bit.ly/mmc-hub. That's where we have a lot of our events posted. Please take a moment to take a look. We have still more to come. Even as we finish Tech Means Business, we still have Define All Odds and Make Design Accessible. And I'll give you a little details on those right now. Make Design Accessible is talking about how we making design accessible in the tech spaces. We have a lot of good people who are willing to give you, insight to their jobs, their roles, and what they do for a living. But that's not where we stop, because we continue that for Accessibility Awareness Month with Define All Odds, which is, again, our tech series about what we are doing to make sure that everything is accessible, because nobody should be left out. And now I just want to take a moment to tell you about Remote Week. It's from May 29th to June 4th. You'll get a chance to meet not only the team, but other people who are signed up to join. It's all inclusive. We have information. If you still would like to register, just go to bit.ly/mmc-travel. And now I just want to tell you, we have a referral zone. And as we know, when you qualify the jobs, sometimes you're in the sea of applicants. And so referrals really mean a lot. And so we are trying to take the time to make sure that y'all get in the most opportune times to get these jobs. And so we have a lot of companies who are participating here. We have BD, we have Amazon, we have Microsoft Atlanta, we have Google, and many others. We really want y'all to get these jobs because there's a lot of money to be made, and y'all have some of the most amazing talent in this community. Please visit bit.ly/MMC refers. Now, before we jump in, I just want to tell you a little bit more about the team and how to join. If you would like, I would love it if y'all can, take some time to learn about our mentorship program, how to opt into our text reminders, visit our FT shop, and finally learn about our Financial Literacy Month giveaway. So I just want y'all to meet the team. We have Chanel P., our CEO, Mrs. Make It Happen. She's the reason why we're able to have such events, how we're able to give back to the community. So we always want to make sure that we're showing her nothing but love. I see you, Tiffany. Thank you for always coming to our events. We have Javon Cameron, who is our COO, a really dope individual. And she also details her journey in tech as a software engineer. She has her own YouTube channel, and I hope that y'all will check that out. And then y'all got me, Dominic, the Chief Strategy and Business Officer. Love talking, love bridging the gap, love being a part of the community, and love just making everything go. But we have other team members that have joined us. We have Sade, who's our graphic designer, who has done a lot of our merch and a lot of just these filters we have. We have Kiara, who's our event content curator. She also hosts here, and she does an amazing job. And finally, this site actually just launched. Sharika is our lifestyle content designer, and she made an amazing page on our website. So if you go to it and you go to lifestyle, you'll see all the things she has ready for y'all. Super dope. But now, I just want to take a minute to tell y'all about our career coaching. Well, rather our free career coaching that we're doing through our mentorship program. And you can visit right here. The mentorship program is mentormecollective.org/mentorship. We're going to be launching this in Q3. We have some amazing people coming to mentor y'all and help y'all along your way, especially with technical careers, and we want y'all to sign up. And if y'all want to be a mentor or a mentee, regardless of where you are, please visit one of these links, bit.ly/mmc-mentee, or if you would like to be a mentor, bit.ly/MNC-mentor. And how to opt into our text reminders. All you have to do is text MMC to 866-901-1914. We're not going to spam y'all. We're not going to do any of that. We just want to get the engagements. We want to text you about our events and text you about our giveaways. I hope y'all also take the chance to visit our Etsy shop right here at etsy.com/shop/MentorMe Collective. Sade, who is our graphic designer, she has nothing but great design. She has designed some of the most amazing merchandise that I've ever seen. I would love for y'all to go and just check it out and show her some love. But what's an MMC event without a MMC giveaway? That's right, y'all. We're always trying to get back to the community. And so how to enter, these are some of the first few steps, which is attending all sessions and bringing a fan if you can, grabbing your pen and paper, taking notes, connecting with us on our social media platforms, and completing the quiz. And also, I want to take a chance to tell you about our photo booth. The bit.ly/MMC-TMB link is right there. All you're going to do is either go to that site or take your smartphone. We all got them at this point. You're going to scan the QR code. You're going to take a picture. We have some really good filters. Again, you're going to take notes, take the quiz to enter into our giveaway. You're going to visit our Instagram and post and tag 3 friends if you can. And finally, you're going to opt in to our MMC text messages by texting MMC to 866-901-1914. And this is just a filter that we have a text meeting business. You have me, you have my lovely CEO, and you also have one of our community members, Taisha. She's always down to refer for her company, Boomi. She's actually on the referral list too. So please go look at Boomi right now and take some and get some of those jobs. Here's the link once again, and I'll repeat it, bit.ly/MMC-TMB. And these are just some of the giveaways that we have going on here. We have Apple AirTags that just came out fairly recently. We have a HomePod Mini. We have a Hydrate water bottle. And finally, we have the Nally Smart Light Bulbs. All really good, all really dope. And guess what? Who's ready for the main event? Because y'all didn't come to hear me chat. But let me tell y'all a little bit about him before we bring him up on stage. Tyrell is a human experience designer and researcher with a multidisciplinary approach to systems thinking. During his time in academia and the tech industry, Tyrell has continually proven his ability to drive conversations and strike the balance between holistic and perspective and innovation. Facilitating hackathons and countless other case studies has made it clear that true change isn't measured by gadgets we produce, it's felt by building a relevant picture of our ecosystem through extracting values from our everyday experiences. See, he already giving y'all the word right here. Tyrell has landed grant funding for sensory augmented reality initiatives, worked with Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health to create learning modules, and currently resides at Snap Incorporated, instilling trust, emotions, and choice into contact moderation processes for core engineering, ops, and integrity. In addition to his product and instructional design experience, Tyrell is a trained illustrator and creative technologist. See, I told y'all we have somebody really dope here, and that's only just a snippet of what he can do. So I'm gonna bring up the man of the hour, Mr. Make It Happen himself, Mr. Tyrell Barron.
What's up, y'all? How's everyone doing?
Show him some love, drop some fire emojis. Dope. He got a dope presentation to come up for y'all.
Of course.
So then tell us a little bit about your journey. Why did you choose this career path, content review?
So I want to say content review. I didn't choose content review. Content review chose me. I started off, I went to school for UX design, cultural anthropology and public health. Yes, that's a mouthful. And then coming out of school, I was applying for jobs, etc. And, with the lack of experience, I wasn't getting any hits. No one really wanted to take a chance. So I had to, figure out how to make opportunities for myself while still, championing my own creativity. So one of the main ways I did that was, just doing contract work with tech companies and, just keeping those opportunities open. And one of those contract opportunities that came to me was actually Snapchat on a totally different team. They reached out, said, hey, would you like to, apply for this and give it a shot? I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. 6 months later, I got the job. A year later with that team, I transferred to a different team, and now I've been with content review for a year and a half. So that's why I say I didn't choose content review, it chose me. And along that way, I've just had to figure out how to really use my skill set of, design, anthropology, and public health, which is really all people related, and just apply that to a digital context, which is Snapchat, and connecting with friends and family and making that.
That's kind of really dope, because when we think about content, you don't make content just for yourself. You make content for other people to view. So it's giving a piece of yourself to your audience. Oh, Aisha had a question that I hope you don't mind answering before we get into your presentation. She says, the contract company.
All right, I'm gonna give a shout out. Shout out to Insight Global. Insight Global was the contract company.
See, look at that man, being so willing to give and so willing to do. And look,
hit them up. I would definitely always recommend that if you want to weigh into tech and you want to gain experience, be a contract worker. Apply to any contract company like Insight Global or Apple. There's another Apple one in California, but just find them and just explore those opportunities and figure out what you like and what you don't like in that work environment, because you may want to do something until you actually hit the real world, and then you realize, I want to apply these skills in a different way. So just don't stop betting on yourself and just try out different opportunities until you find what works for you.
And see, this is day 2, because remember, Sierra Yates, as a brand communications manager, told you about freelance work and how to get into these fields and how freelance really drives. Terrell's giving you even more. He even shouting out some companies, y'all. But let me shut up. Let me let him go through his presentation. I'm on stage to facilitate the conversation, and I cannot wait.
All right, let's do this. What's up, everybody? So we are going to be talking about content review. I know a lot of you are thinking, what is content review? So I'm going to give you a brief description of what that is and go into it a bit more. So I work for a squad at Snapchat called Review Operations, and we're responsible for moderating all of the publicly facing content on Snapchat. That means all UGC content. UGC, for anyone who doesn't know, that stands for user generated content. So if you ever hear that in the meeting, et cetera, just pop out that acronym. They'll be like, oh, nah, they know what they're talking about. So that's all publicly facing content. That's across Maps. That's across Discover. That's across publisher tiles. They'll be like for different publisher tile shows, and that also extends into Spotlight. So we moderate all of that content for a number of reasons, but the main reasons why we do that is to make sure that our Snapchatters experience is safe and fun. We wouldn't want, just like bad content, et cetera, floating around. And we can get into why we wouldn't want that type of content floating around. But that's essentially what we do. Just to recap what content review is. Content review is overseeing the moderation of all publicly facing content on Snapchat, and we moderate that content to make sure that it's safe and fun, and we figure out those ways to make sure that we're always having a good time doing it. Alrighty, so I know some people will probably like, how do we actually do this? So our team bases all of the content that we moderate off of our community guidelines, terms of service, and product specific policies. Now, I kind of want to make a big highlight on policy, because every platform has its own policy that they write, and there's a policy team that does this, there's a legal team that does this, and in our case at Snapchat, we work with legal and policy to actually reform this policy on a weekly basis so that it keeps up with trends and things that we see actually in the world. For example, if there's like a very big news event, et cetera, we want to know what snaps are being raised, what content are we seeing that equates to that line in policy, and is there any gray area that we can actually work with so that we can allow more content in if that's actually being rejected, or can we just shut it down if we know that's not something we want to show? A good example is the crate challenge. I know everyone's familiar with the crate challenge. So the crate challenge popped up and it was funny. I mean, it's amazingly funny. You see people walking on crates, some fall and, destroy their backs, et cetera. While that's cool on other platforms, that's something that violates our policies for human violence or just people putting themselves in dangerous positions, because once they get injured, that's something that you wouldn't really want to distribute out to a lot of our partners. And again, our main priority is to make sure that our Snapchatters are safe. Keyword on safe. So aside from that example, some of the areas that we do like to focus on that, generate a lot of our conversations revolve around harassment, misinformation, violence, and of course, spam. Alrighty. So aside from just public facing work and aside from, just policy work, my day to day, I really have to put on like a detective hat every day. We manage a lot of different partners internationally as well as internally in the company. So it's really just a way to figure out how to streamline processes and align team goals. What do I mean by streamline processes? We have a lot of in-house tools, and we're still working on the app, et cetera, to, create new features, figure out new ways to improve the experience for users, figure out new ways to keep Snapchatters safe. So while some of it on the back end is understanding what our teams are doing, how can we align our goals, and how I can help to get these projects going from a moderation perspective and providing that ground truth, et cetera. That's really just a lot of the work, is converging goals and creating different products. You may not even notice a lot of these products because that's the point. I mean, when you design something really good, you don't notice like the smooth improvements, but over time you'll be like, this is a totally new experience, but it still feels relatively safe or homey, or you're used to it, etc.
So then what was your favorite feature that you've seen evolve through the use of the app since Snapchat has been around for, a solid 7-8 years?
I think one, definitely Snap Maps. So Snap Maps is literally a global map of, you can literally just go around the world and see what Snapchatters are posting day to day, et cetera. And we've actually extended that out to help businesses promote their businesses, et cetera. And we're actually doing a lot of stuff interactively with like AR. So it actually integrates for a full experience. And again, our team is responsible for moderating and verifying. Well, I'd probably just say moderating. And what I mean by moderating is, again, making sure that all of the content that is submitted and that we're green lighting to be broadcasted on the platform, again, adheres to that policy. And of course, if it has entertainment value and if it's cool, yes, we're pretty serious about policy, but at the same time, we still want great content on the platform. And I'm understanding that, and working with different teams that also have different views of what great content is a great way to, create a lot of different experiences like maps or Spotlight or Discover Tiles or just UGC sharing as a whole.
Okay. That's really dope to hear more and more about. Okay, I see you out here.
Yeah, man. So a lot of this can involve, we do a lot of regular syncs with international partners. We have a lot of international partners who help us with a lot of the tasks that we do. It's an amazing relationship, and, they help us identify trends. They help us identify what's working, what isn't working. It's a give and take. It's a give and take relationship, and understanding how we can better ourselves and how we can better our policy to be very universal, so that if anybody reads it, it can be understood and you can apply a piece of content to that policy. Like I said before, we do a lot of workflow management. So that means understanding how our teammates are working and seeing their workflows and improving those workflows so that we can reach goals faster or be more efficient. A lot of trend research and analysis. So that means understanding the content landscape, understanding what creators are popping, what creators aren't popping, and if they aren't popping, do they have a point of contact? Can we give them feedback? Can we educate these creators? And really just understanding what these trends actually equate to on the platform and what it equates to the people seeing the content. Are they generally enjoying that content? Are they sharing it with their friends? How are they perceiving this content, and how can we create a better experience for our audience? So it's a lot of trend research and analysis, and a lot of creator escalations and policy implementation, which we just went over. So yeah, that's literally my day-to-day. That sounds like a lot. It sounds like a lot. It is a lot. Most of the time, it's a lot of stakeholder management. It's a very fast-paced environment. So I would say, while technical roles force you to apply, of course, your technical skills, non-technical roles more so generally take from a more well-rounded perspective of understanding how to take your skills and then apply it to how to communicate with others, or understanding how to do X, Y, and Z to help other teams streamline goals, more so than just focusing on one aspect of your skill set.
So how do you manage, because you're in content review and you're constantly looking throughout all this stuff to make sure, kind of complies with your policy? How do you go about setting your mental health? Because that's a lot of content to be, consuming day to day.
Yeah. The main thing that I do is I literally just close my computer. But no. Aside from closing my computer, it's really just staying in touch with your inner child at the end of the day. Like, you have to do things that make you feel like a kid again. Like, I'll go for walks just randomly during the day. It doesn't matter if I have like an email I need to respond to, or it doesn't matter if I get a Slack ping on someone saying, I need you to look at this. If I know I need a walk, etc., I'm gonna just go for a walk, decompress, relax, and then get back into that right state of mind to actually do my job to the best. You never want to like do something super stressed out, because you're never gonna, like produce your best results. So that's one of the things I do to take care of my mental health. Breaks are a godsend. So take as many breaks as you need to, and never feel bad about taking a break. I mean, if you're being negligent and not getting your work done, then of course worry about that. But always take breaks, and never sacrifice your time. Never. So if you get off at 4, close your computer at 4. As much as you want to, continue out and bang out emails, bang out different projects, etc., it's great. There's a time for it, but I've had to learn to really put my mental health forward by just taking breaks and not taking everything so seriously.
You hear that, folks? Don't take your job too serious. You can do it.
Yeah, it's the best way. It helps you have fun. And once you have fun, that's when really the innovative ideas and, oh, I never thought of it that way. Oh, I can, that's when it really happens. Alrighty. So if you're interested in ever posting to Snapchat, etc., please do. I mean, it's a great platform.
Shameless plug.
Here are some of my biggest tips, and this can definitely apply to other platforms. I say this because a lot of platforms have similar moderation systems and some of the things that they look for when it comes to determining what they want to place on your feeds, etc. So my biggest tips are always, please read the community guidelines in terms of services. Now, I say this to know that that's basically cheat codes to understand what content you should and shouldn't be posting on the platform. You can go on YouTube and literally just type in platform name, policy, review, and there will literally be someone who will be like, hey, this is that policy line. People are out there to actually give you those resources on what community guidelines and policies are. But aside from policy, there are some other things that you can use to make sure that your content will get the most exposure. Be unique, find your niche and experiment. Like, I can't tell you enough of how many like dime a dozen creators we see, who just hop on trends, etc. It's cool. You'll get a short amount of engagement for like maybe a few weeks or a month, but after that, you have to keep up with that trend, or you have to evolve it into something else, and then you're already off track of who you are. So just always be unique and find your niche and experiment with your audience. It's okay to fail. Like, that's why one of these is consistency is key. It's okay to fail. If you see some of your content getting like 30 views or 20 views, that's okay. That means 30 people sat down and watched your content. That means there will be more coming. So consistency is key. Another thing to always do is spot check for watermarks and logos. I say this especially because a lot of us post content from platform to platform. Like, I'll have something on TikTok, then I'll post it to Instagram, then I'll post it to Snapchat. When you're doing that, just always make sure there are no watermarks from other platforms or logos or weird croppings of the videos, etc. This is really just to make sure that all of your content is at the height of quality. So no matter where it goes, it'll have an equal chance. If it goes somewhere else and it has, let's say I'm on Snapchat and my video has like a watermark from TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, etc., that's probably not going to get as much exposure, because of course we want to promote Snap native content. So always post without watermarks and logos so that your content can get, the most exposure. Another point, create narratives. Again, this goes back to being unique and finding your niche and experience and experimenting with your audience. Create narratives. Always in your content have a beginning, middle, and end. And, it's up to you, how creative you want to make that beginning, middle, and end. But, having a basic narrative will always make sure that the quality of your content will always be deemed as high and valuable to a platform. This is the difference between a 15-second cooking tutorial and someone just pointing a camera down at their shoes and saying these are fly. It's a difference into how it actually has a chance to grow on the platform that you're posting to. And this goes into the next point of always making sure that your video and audio quality are clear. please, 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 please. If you're on a dating app, you wouldn't want your profile picture to be blurred out, etc. If you're on YouTube, you wouldn't want your email address or the main information to be blurred out, etc. If you have a business, you want your communication to be clear and succinct. Same thing applies to your content. You always want your video and audio quality to be as clear as possible, because there are people moderating that content and are going to view your content. So if they can't see it and they can't hear it properly, it's likely not going to get the exposure that you want it to. And this goes into the next point, the next 2 points of consistency is key. Just keep doing it, having fun, and making sure that you're being unique and really following your passion and whatever content that you want to post. So if you follow any of these steps or pointers, etc., I'm pretty sure you'll have a good chance of being successful on any platform that you post your content to. But if you follow any of these and post a snap, you'll definitely be successful. So that's a shameless plug.
Oh, friend, big it up. That's what you're here for too.
Alrighty, so we talked about Snap. Let's go a bit into the journey so you can kind of get like a grasp of how all this comes full circle. Another shameless plug, I went to Northeastern University in Boston. Shout out to the Huskies. There I studied human experience design, formerly known as UX design, cultural anthropology, and public health. It is a mouthful. But the main point of that was, understanding how people work within different systems, and, that translates to digital systems as well as communal systems, and how people interact with each other and, get to goals and bring value to whatever they're doing. So from college, etc., like I said before, moved out to LA. I took a risk on myself. I bet on myself, essentially, from the East Coast going out to LA. And I totally advise everyone to do that. If it's never too late to bet on yourself and put yourself into the fire and see what you can do. If you're not uncomfortable, you're probably not growing. So
were you scared when you made that transition from East Coast to LA?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. So that was one of the, it was a culture shock. It was, all right, now I have to figure out how to actually get my way into a good career that I want to chase out here, and figuring that out. So it's really making yourself uncomfortable and trying out different things. So it goes into forging a path after school. Like I said before, I was applying to places. They would all say the same things, like you're bright, this is great, etc. The projects that you were working on at school were great. Your co-op and internship experience is amazing, but there's really no real world experience that we can actually back it up on. So it's just like, all right, cool. Now I have to find out a different way to show. And don't ever feel down that you have to show your worth, etc. You should always know your worth and what you do, because you're talented at whatever you do. You don't need anyone else's validation for that. But to me, I had to show myself that, hey, I can do this, and I can get into a career where I'm actually happy, and I can use my skills in anything that I want to do. So that basically told me, hey, man, you have to try out every opportunity. And shout out to Insight Global. I went to them. I went to a couple. There was probably like 3 or 4 contract institutions that I was using at the same time, and they were all sending me different jobs, et cetera. And I would take one from here. I'll be like, oh, I'm not feeling that one. Take one from here, take one from here. And it was more so just understanding, what don't I like? What do I like? And then randomly, I got the call. I mean, that's not how it usually happens. That's how it happens in movies sometimes, where you just get a random call and they're like, hey, we can change your life. But I was working at a job randomly, and I got a call, and they said, hey, do you want to interview for this position? And yeah, I did the interview and I got it. And then now I'm here talking to everyone about, my path into tech. So never underestimate being open to opportunity, and never underestimate the path that you're taking, because everyone has their own path. You're never going to get somewhere the same way that someone else did. You can watch as many YouTube videos as you want, but you're 100% totally different from someone else, and your perspective is 100% valued. So always remain open to opportunity. experiment, collaborate with people. I can't tell you enough of that was really what it was, just networking and understanding the community in LA and just talking to people and trying out different projects and not being afraid to sound or look dumb. You have to get over that hurdle to get into the rooms or get into the conversations that you want to get into. So always remain open to opportunity, and trust me, your purpose will find you if you haven't already found your purpose.
Really dope, and that's what the Mentor Me is trying to do, bring community together. So we're thankful for people like you who are trying to give people insight to this.
1000%. Shout out to Mentor Me. Alrighty, so to kind of wrap this up, these are the top skills that I focused on to be successful in my role. One of them was actually not getting a charger to my computer, so give me 2 seconds and let me just put my computer on a charger before it dies. Hold on.
Oh, please. So, folks, I hope y'all taking this in, because this is really dope. And as you know, content is only growing. All these social media apps like TikTok, Snapchat, it's all about posting content. Even YouTube still is one of the best places to post content. So I hope that y'all taking everything I'm really saying, and that y'all are, getting all the information. Because we're dropping some really good tips right here. If I was a content creator, I definitely would be following. And so now, I see a kitty.
Yeah, that's my cat, Ivy. That's my cat. Say what's up. She's chilling. But yes, please post the Snapchat. Please. Trust me, if you have a unique perspective and you have a unique vision, consistency is key on the platform. We're always looking for like great content. And if you compare it to TikTok, TikTok is pretty saturated, etc. Snapchat has its own like niche lane of, if you do have a niche type of content that you post there, it'll definitely, pick up more steam, but consistency is key. So these are some of the top skills that I focused on. The exact skill may change for you, but always just be transparent with yourself and figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are. If you can't really do that, then bring in an accountability buddy, bring in a mentor, join Mentor Me Collective, find people to actually challenge you in a healthy, constructive way to figure out where you could strengthen up or, develop your skills. So some of the skills that I really needed to focus on to really be successful was storytelling and presentations. This goes into data analytics and a lot of stakeholder management. So if I'm doing a research study on, let's say, a particular market, right? And I'm looking at a lot of different content and I'm understanding how these metrics align with this, understanding this team's vision of how they want to roll out a certain product and how content will influence that product and what they're actually looking at as an overarching goal. I have to take that data, summarize it, and put it into a narrative with a beginning, middle, and end that is so easy to understand that I can pass it to anybody in the company and they can read it and understand it and be able to build upon that within their research study or product that they're building. So without understanding how to actually be a good storyteller and, draw people into initiatives, you're probably going to be talking on deaf ears, because in a lot of tech companies, it's fast paced. People have to wear a lot of different hats. And there are a lot of things on people's roadmaps that you have to account for. So storytelling and presentations really drive home why you want something, what will be the value of that, what are some of the risks that we can account for, and what are some solutions. So anytime you frame anything, you always want to just put it there, just so you can, remove all the jargon, you can remove all of the bias that you may inherently put in what you're saying. So always storytelling and presentations, no matter what career or what technical skills or not that you have, storytelling and presentations will always be bread and butter. If you can't relay your vision or you can't relay data, it's useless. So next one, task prioritization. Oh my gosh, if I can't tell you the amount of projects you could have just piling on top of each other, you have to understand how to prioritize. And what some of the things that go into prioritizing is, of course, your time, your health, your mental health, what we talked about earlier, but just understanding, just having that perspective to understand what would be best for the team right now. Is that solo project that I've been working on for a couple of weeks that I know will value the team, is that more important than an escalation that got raised a day ago? No. So I'm going to work on the escalation right now and then come back to that project. So it's all about task prioritization and understanding what can I best do now that'll serve the team the best. And if you have that mindset of service rather than I, then task prioritization will probably be an easy task for you. I would always recommend, getting apps that help. Any project management app will help, where you can literally just list it out and then like attribute a color and do prioritization.
Shout out to Trello, because that's actually a really good one just for that.
Yes. Trello is really good. The last one goes into storytelling and presentations, data analysis and relaying. Understanding data, as we know, we live in the information era. So understanding data is probably going to impact any career that you choose, especially in the field of content, because that's the one thing we rely on. That's how we keep in contact with our users. That's how we know what they enjoy versus what they don't enjoy. That's how we figure out gray areas in policy. That's how we understand different stakeholders. That's how we converge ideas and figure out common solutions, and understanding data and doing relational studies of that. So data analysis is always going to be there, and I would always recommend just always finding out new ways to improve this skill, even if it's going on YouTube and searching out how to, let's say, make a G sheet, a Google sheet with conditional formatting. That is like the most simplest way. Conditional formatting and a data validation in Google Sheets will serve you. If you can master that, you can literally go anywhere you want to. And of course, you can get into SQL, and you can go into statistics and framing out data and creating pie graphs and stuff like that. But if you can just master Google Sheets, conditional formatting, and data validations, and starting off from there, that will literally teach you the primal basics of understanding data, and then figuring out how to create a narrative from that and put it into a presentation and ultimately relay that data to your team. So between storytelling, task prioritizations, and data analysis, those were the main skills that I found that allowed me to utilize my natural gifts to the best of my ability. If I didn't work on my storytelling, my illustration skills probably wouldn't be as valued. I mean, I can create a cool illustration, but if it doesn't have a story behind it, it's not going to be really compelling. If I didn't have task prioritization, I'd probably just be working on personal projects and I'd be fired or something, right? Data analysis, if you don't know how to relay data and understand numbers, especially at a tech company, then that's like not liking pizza, working at Papa John's. It just doesn't make sense. So just understanding different ways that you can improve yourself to really thrive in your position is totally something to focus on. And that's all I got. So I definitely appreciate everyone staying for this talk. Hopefully I did drop some gems that everyone can take from this. And yeah, please always get in contact with me if you want to reach out via LinkedIn, Terrell Barron on LinkedIn. Please hit me up.
Oh, see, you actually gave a lot of information. I'm actually going to drop the link to your LinkedIn now so people can connect with you. And you gave a lot of great content, especially when it comes to storytelling, right? Because I often see people post some stuff and when especially on Snapchat, TikTok, whatever, I'm like, so what's the story behind it? What led to this? And sometimes it's just, in a vacuum. And I'm like, I can't get an idea of what is this about. And so I'm not interested in delving deeper. Yeah. So I think you elaborating on that really helps.
1000%. A basic story can take you a long way. Like it's literally night and day. And when you'll see the reactions to that type of content, if you consistently post narratives, next thing you know, you have a discography of your story. You have a collection of your most either vulnerable thoughts or your experiences as a whole. If you have a random collections of just like 5-second clips and 10-second clips, and it's just a compile of random moments, so creating stories and narratives serves you and your content better, and helps you really grow on platforms faster, I should say.
That's dope. So then I just want to take it back to a little bit to your journey, because you talked about community moving out to LA. So how important was community or mentorship for you? Did you have like a specific mentor, or did you kind of just, learn as your community grew?
So that's actually a really good question, because I feel like it was both. So I kept in contact with my professors from school. So if that's also another way people can get mentors, always stay in contact with your teachers or professors, etc. They'll always drop some gems on you randomly, or just send you articles, etc., to keep your mind sharp. So it was a combination of that and just putting myself out there and finding mentors in LA. One of the best things I ever did was just going out to different events, different art galleries and different design conferences, etc., and just meeting people and finding out what they were working on. And doing that led to so many other opportunities of, hey, can you help me facilitate this VR exhibition that we're running in a couple of weeks? Sure, let's do that. All right, you go there, and then you meet some more people, and you see people possibly in a position that you would definitely like to pursue, have a conversation with them, exchange information, and now you have someone who can literally mentor you and guide you into, you shouldn't, if you want a job here, you should focus on working on things like that. So it was a combination, keeping in contact with professors while also putting myself out there and looking for people who inspired me, more so than even just mentors, just people who inspired me, and just growing that community of inspiring people.
Yeah, so closed mouth don't get fed. So if you want to get something, you gotta be willing to ask for it. And I'm happy you took the chance to ask for community and mentorship, and look at how it led you to growing in this role.
Exactly.
So Brooklyn T asks, any tools or softwares you recommend for newbie content creators to know?
Ooh, that's a good question. Any tools and software? There are so many different tools and software. I think the tools and software kind of like depends on the content that you want to create. Of course, you can get anything done with any Adobe suite or with your iPhone. It really comes down to how you edit that and really the narrative point. I think since we are in 2022, I'm used to seeing 14-year-olds create the craziest content literally on their iPhone, just off of just doing different cuts and Premiere Cut Pro and stuff like that. So it really depends on like the type of content that you're looking to create. For example, if you want to do like AR lenses, etc., I would 100% recommend downloading Lens Studio from Snapchat. It's a free to use tool, and you can definitely create any type of AR interaction. You have, Lens Studio. So that's one tool that you can use. But again, it all depends on the type of content that you want to create. If you want to create augmented reality in VR, I'm always going to recommend you either do Lens Studio, you can either do Blender, or you can, what's another one? Blender, oh my God. You can always use Unreal Engine, etc. But, all depends on the type of content you want to use. When it comes to like posting to platforms like Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, your phone in a good tripod can literally do you wonders. You don't understand. There are so many different apps, etc., out there where you can literally just edit your content in there and just post it anywhere. But if you want to get into more like technically creative stuff, then I would go for the Lens Studio, Blender, Unreal Studio, and so forth and so forth.
Listen, the cameras on these phones nowadays so focused, I don't even think I need a photographer anymore.
Exactly.
I'm lying though. So Taisha, who we shout out earlier today, had a question. What are some small projects people can work on to build their portfolios?
That's a great question. I think small projects that you can work on depend on two things. It's going to depend on, one, your personal initiative, and two, the goal. So if you're working on a small project, I would always recommend starting small first. If you want to do a research study, interview your friends, find a common topic, interview your friends, and figure out a goal. Like, what do we actually want to get done? Another great way, contract work. If you want to work on small projects that can build your portfolio, go on a Fiverr, go to Insight Global, do other contracting company. Creative Circle is another great one where you can do short-term projects, maybe like 1 or 2 months long. Some even go up to 6 months, but you have a smaller project that you can actually put on your portfolio, and you can be like, hey, I did this project with this team. We worked on X, Y, and Z. And it shows, even though, some people can say that, it shows that you hop around, et cetera. No, it really does just show your curiosity and able to adapt to different situations and apply your skill set. So don't be ashamed to work on a bunch of different small projects as long as they all coincide with your goal. Like if you want to be a designer, of course, I would work on a lot of smaller design projects that all culminate into, well, this small project, I was working on this to build up my branding skills. This small project, I was working to build up my systems design. This small project, I was working on to focus on my research. So taking those different small projects and focusing on different areas that you want to improve on will definitely make your portfolio look top notch.
That's what we like to hear. That's what we like to see. Welcome again. Shout out to her. She said, what makes content creation at Snap special/different than other companies?
Well, one, we have lenses. So as you can see, even in my background, this is Snap Camera. Everyone, you can also download Snap Camera and you can change your background. So actually, we can have some fun and like play with.
Give a live demo. Why not?
Well, that's not a live demo. Let's see. Let's see. Alrighty, we can, you can change the background. I'm trying to get into more of like the facial augmentations of it. Let's see. Can I? Oh no. Yeah, no. Let's see if we can do this right. Got it. No. Yeah, so it looks like the only backgrounds work because I think the lighting for this platform is a bit off for it. Yeah. But Snap Camera will definitely allow you to like, change your background during things. You can actually upload the lenses that you create directly onto there and use them and send them out to your friends. But what really makes content creation at Snap special and different from other companies is really just the safety and the transparency that we have with our users. One, it's always protected. Your data is always protected. Two, other companies, I can't really say that's the case. Two, the community is much smaller and more niche. And what I mean by smaller and niche is it's not smaller in terms of like we're still top 10 social media platform in the world, but I mean it's smaller in terms of it's more concentrated. Like we have more dedicated audiences that come back to Snapchat rather than other platforms where they just go and be like, oh, this is cool, I'll just come here to view content and leave elsewhere. People stay on the platform, so if you have consistency, etc., you'll definitely be able to get a great fan base that you can translate to other platforms. So I'd say the safety, the community, as well as the opportunity for growth at Snapchat is what really makes it special and unique.
That was a very good answer. So then just going back to your history at Snapchat, what does your day-to-day look like? Just on like today, for example, what did you do today just in content review?
Got it. So actually, let me see my schedule so I can give you like a play-by-play.
I get it.
Also would recommend, listing out your schedule and literally just plotting out what you're doing hour by hour and factor in those breaks. A little bit of structure never really hurt nobody. So to begin my day, I always started off with some email escalations, always check my emails just to see if anyone's bugging me. After that, I have a project or basically a research initiative that I'm running for like content quality on the platform. So that really just means auditing a lot of content, reaching out to different partners to see how they're auditing that content as well. And I'm really just working with different stakeholders and figuring out different projects that they're working on, et cetera, and, pushing this initiative. So that's what really I was working on this morning. I had another initiative. I work on a project called Spotlight. So that's essentially how people get paid out for their content. So I oversee a team who basically moderates all of that content, so people can actually get paid out for their content. So was doing some auditing for that, and had some really cool conversations regarding new creators who are coming to the platform and how we can do to prepare for their content. So more meetings and understanding some of that. What else did we have to do? Let's see, did some more escalate. I'm literally just going back and forth to my schedule. Let's see. I had a meeting right before here with a company that we work with, and that's mainly to handle. Actually, I can't even say the company that we work with and mainly to handle, but the project is mainly just for machine learning. So that was, if you're also interested in like machine learning, et cetera, just because it's not a technical role doesn't mean you don't pick up technical skills. So it's really just having meetings regarding machine learning on the platform and how we can use that to help with moderation decisions, because that is a crucial part, using like computer vision to pick up like alcohol or drugs or solicitation or extremely sexual content, etc. So meetings regarding that and understanding how our models are working and how efficiently they're working, and figuring out ways, all right, how can we train this model to work better in this regard? So a lot of my day up until this point has been a lot of personal projects that I'm working on with initiatives, of course, my general duties, and then stakeholder management and understanding where we are in terms of our workflows. And that goes into what we talked about earlier of workflow management.
Oh, that's dope. So then just to get a little bit more of your day to day. So would you say for you more so would you say more for you it's like you don't have someone breathing down your neck, like you have autonomy to kind of work and picking what you want to choose as long as you're meeting deadlines? Because we know certain jobs are more stringent and structured. Other ones are like, hey, as long as it's done by the 9th, I don't care what you do when you do it.
Yes, I'm gonna go with the second. That's what I really do love about Snap, is a lot of freedom to be creative. That's why I said every day I really just put on my detective hat and figure out where I want to investigate. You know, of course, I have my projects that I'm working on, and of course, we have our team roadmaps that we stick to. But on a day-to-day, it's really communication between the team and our cross-functional partners of, hey, these are my priorities for the day. We have this, we're working on this project, we're working on this project. Do you have any more insights about X, Y, and Z? Can we converge on this? Hey, I noticed X, Y, and Z. So it's a lot of back and forth, good back and forth of communication.
So what communication you say is like one of the top soft skills you need for a job like this?
Yeah. If you can't talk to people, then you're probably not going to get, you think about it. Like I interact with engineers on a daily basis. I interact with product designers on a daily basis. I interact with project managers. I interact with content creators. I interact with content managers, curators, et cetera. And all of these different people talk and think in totally different ways. Like an engineer is not about to have a conversation about content the same way a talent manager would, right? So learning how to like communicate with each of them so that you can still reach the same goal is 100% valuable. Because if not, then you'll just find yourself going in circles.
Yeah, and I feel that 100% because at certain jobs that I've worked, like IT people talk a little different than the operations people, talk a little different than the marketing people. So being able to kind of code switch, so to speak, and really understand how they all think and how they all operate and coming up with a unified plan. It's really hard, but it's worth it if you're a people person.
1000%. It's always worth it when you reach a common goal,
Right. So then, this is just an empty curiosity for me, and I ask this to everybody. What was the best piece of career advice that you've gotten throughout your whole journey from start to here?
Ooh, that's a good one.
And if you don't have a top one, just give me top 3 or 4 then, whichever.
Top one really just popped out of my head. It wasn't even from like a mentor that I actually met, and it wasn't from anyone I like went to school with. I was literally reading a Steve Jobs autobiography. I hate that I'm like pulling this out, but there was one quote in there that I was reading during college that really actually this was like right before college, before I went into college, that really like lit a fuse and put me on this path. It was really, never live your life according to someone else's dogma. And dogma refers to how someone else lives or perceives their life. If you measure yourself up to other people, there's no point in doing what you're living for someone else at that point. So when I read that quote, it was almost like a aha moment. And then, I began to, just not be constricted by, I have to go into this field. I have to do this specifically this way. It was more so learning how to break down systems and understand leverage points so that you can do whatever you want to do. Like when I went to school, I came in saying, I'm gonna study human experience design, cultural anthropology, and public health. if y'all are listening to me right now and you're like, that's a lot, imagine what a guidance counselor would be saying, or a dean or professor would be saying, like, how are you even going to do this, etc. But it comes down to being like, nah, figuring it out and understanding the path that you can take. And shout out to Northeastern, because, you know, they have an independent study program where you can actually, you know, like literally create your curriculum and make it work. But it takes a lot of communication between deans of different schools and basically relaying your vision of how this relates to this. And then when they see it, they'll be like, all right, cool, now I can sign off on it. So that quote made me have to work on my communication skills to get what I want and study and pursue a career path that I wanted. And then that in turn helped me with communication and the job that I'm doing now.
And it goes back to something you said earlier, which is you gotta just really own your path. So it's for you. It's don't judge it on anybody else. It's all about what you're doing in the race you're running.
Exactly.
And so there, designer says, teach me your way. So yes, you are dropping a lot of good content because you got people wanting to learn.
Hey, hit me up on LinkedIn. Hit me on
LinkedIn. I'll drop it again. Taisha has a 2-part question. The first being, what is your career path? Got you.
So my career path is still centered in human experience design. It's always going to be around user-centric design, no matter what. And what I mean by that is it's such a broad field because humans are almost at, I don't want to say we're at the center of a lot of experiences, but a lot of the tools and systems that we create, either digital or physical, you know, they revolve around people using them. So wherever there is a human using something, I can apply my skill set to that. So right now I'm more so into the content field, doing research, et cetera, and understanding user experience from a content perspective. And as I continue in my career, I'm still going to be doing more stuff regarding the human experience, but I'm definitely looking to expand on that and go more so into urban planning, go more into civic engagement and community work. And I tackle a lot of that in my personal business as well.
Oh, because that kind of leads into our next question. What is next for you?
What is next for me? What is next for me is TBR. So TBR is a company that I have, and we're focused on making local communities a part of design, infrastructure, and policy decisions. So we do that a lot through facilitating hackathons. We do that a lot through doing workshops, participating in amazing platforms like MentorMe Collective. And we really just, you know, help people, normal people doing everyday things, influence and make decisions in design, infrastructure, and policy. And that goes into working with different tech companies and influencing how they design products. That means partaking in user research studies. That means partaking in usability tests, right? When it goes to infrastructure, that means that goes into like neighborhood empowerment and city council and getting people into those rooms and helping them understand how to actually talk to developers and how to develop plans that will be impacting their immediate neighborhoods. And then when it goes into policy, that's more so just the groundwork of getting people to understand the systems that they're in, systems and rules that they operate with on a daily basis and how they can impact and change those as well. So it's a pretty well-rounded thing. It's always revolving around human-centered interactions and how we interact with each other and our built environment around us.
So then can you tell us what TBR means so the audience knows what to look for when they're looking for this?
Of course. TBR literally means the Barron Review. My last name is Barron, so, TBR, TBR for short, but it is also known as the Barron Review. We also do consulting, mind map consulting, and what mind mapping is really information architecture. So we have a partnership with Miro, and that's an online whiteboard collaborative platform. And we basically do mind mapping sessions with groups as well as individuals, you know, goal prioritize, do research studies, facilitate product visions, and really just make sense of what you're thinking, what you want to accomplish in a cool, easy way. Again, information architecture is probably the key to a lot of problems and, you know, just framing out what you're thinking and making actionable steps to get there. So yeah, we go into community work and we also do consulting.
And remember, guys, that's Barron with 2 R's, not 1.
Yes, sir. Barron.
And so lastly, this is just a fun question as we're getting off, because I like to leave on light notes. So, are you a big cat person? And if so, why?
Am I a big? I mean, originally, no, I wasn't. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I originally like didn't like cats because I thought they were all mean. Yeah, but I think I got my cat. I don't think I know. I got my cat. I want to say like 3 months before COVID, without even knowing it was gonna happen. Mainly because I just wanted to change my lifestyle and be home a bit more. You know, going out to networking events and hanging out and doing X, Y, and Z. It was just like, don't ever lose yourself and always stay yourself. So I was just like, all right, let me get a cat, etc., so I can have like a cool companion and, you know, just rock with and do some work and catch a vibe. So I got my cat and she spoiled me. Like, I didn't even know I really like cats this much, you know. So yeah, I'm a pretty big cat person now. I'm not like the cat person that I have like 10 or 5. Like, no. I'm good with one. And then, you know, I'll move on to like getting a dog or something.
Well, folks, he gave you an in-depth of what content review is and also his journey and what he's all about. I hope you do check out the TBR, the Baron review, in case I need to repeat it. And thank you so much, Tyrell, for just being here and giving the community. You could have been doing anything else in the world, but you chose to stay with us. And for that, I think we're all pretty thankful.
Of course, anytime. Would always love contributing and would definitely be happy to be back and help in any way that I can. So hit me up. Let's collaborate. If you want some more information or resources, let me know. I'm always happy.
Oh, so. You're definitely coming back. We're keeping you one. So then tomorrow, you all, we have talent acquisition with Emilium. Kiara will be hosting that. I want to thank y'all all for tuning in today. I hope y'all have a lovely Wednesday. And thank you once more for joining us. See y'all tomorrow.
Peace, everyone.